Well, a happy Saturday to you. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. We have got weather changes taking place after such a persistent mild spell. We've seen temperatures bumping up into the mid-teens generally, and it's certainly been far, far too warm for this time of year, hasn't it? And we certainly are going to be seeing those changes over the next 12 to 24 hours as an area of precipitation pushes up from the southwest up over Cornwall, Devon, and that will actually spread up into the Midlands as well as bending round into the southeast of England. So that will actually basically arrive later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. Over the course of Sunday, very, very wet weather across central and southern parts of England, while over across the northern half of the UK, we here in Scotland, across the Northern Ireland as well, will enjoy some lovely sunny conditions, and temperatures will be back closer to normal. You'll have probably noticed that actually today, that the wee breeze blowing, feeling that bit more nippy, and the temperatures are back down to around where they should be for this time of year, around 7 or 9 degrees. But as that band of precipitation, that rainfall pushes across the south of the UK and actually pushes back southeastwards again, what we're needing to watch out for is as that area of weather pushes southeastwards back towards the near continent, we're actually going to be seeing a much cooler air mass pushing down from the northwest. As that cooler air mass meets up against that precipitation, as it exits the south of the UK, we need to watch out for some snowfall. So down through, perhaps South Yorkshire into Lincolnshire, perhaps even over to East Anglia, Norfolk and Suffolk, of course. We're looking at a potential for the back end of that band of rain turning over to snowfall. How much we're going to see, will we actually see anything significant? That remains a big question at this time. Models are kind of jumping back and forward, dependency on how cold the air mass is as it meets up against that rain band. But I'm going to quickly show you here the first of all the upper level chart. This is of course for today, and you can see here a relatively mild air mass in place. Nothing particularly cold and certainly nothing particularly warm. We're really in between the contrast in terms of air mass and temperature. A lot cooler, you will notice, compared to what we've seen of late. Crossover in Eastern Europe, we've got chilly weather indeed. We've got an upper level low here, so producing snow, probably quite windy conditions as well. Further west, this is where your area of high pressure, the area of high pressure that basically dominated the UK, is now sitting over France and down into Italy. Certainly the Italians will be enjoying that nice, much warmer weather than what they've seen. They've seen a very tough, past month or so, but certainly a little bit more seasonal here, more seasonal across the UK as well. And what's interesting is as I progress into Sunday, you notice here, this here is the cooler air I'm talking about. As it pushes in, it's also meeting up against a system with producing very heavy rain across parts of Wales, through the Midlands, and then down into the southeast of England as well. A very wet day, and this is terrific news for eastern and southern parts of England, where there's been a drought situation there for the past 12 months. This, folks, is not going to remove that drought. We would need to see an awful lot more of events that we'll see tomorrow. We'll need to see more of that taking place, and unfortunately, given the tendency of drought, it can be very difficult sometimes. Once that drought sets in, when you're talking about a year of progressive drought conditions, it's more difficult to then remove those drought conditions. You need to have to replenish that deficit. You need to have a significant amount of rainfall, and unfortunately, the longer that goes on, the tougher I think it will be. We need to get a wet spring across eastern and southern parts of England to really see an impact. And I think if we don't see that, that actually could have an impact on the weather conditions over the course of later in the spring and summer. But as it progresses into Monday, we actually have got a much cooler regime in place, a much colder pocket of air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But surface high pressure is going to remove any sort of significant precipitation. That rain that will dominate tomorrow across the southern half of the UK will be gone, and we are going to be seeing a pretty pretty pleasant day really across a large part of the UK over the course of tomorrow. I'm saying that system will be gone. It will take its time over the course of the day to really see that push out. But certainly we need to watch out in the backside of that precipitation area for snow to develop. But as I progress into Tuesday here, you notice here the cooler air trying to get pushed out. You've got another very strong jet stream blowing across the North Atlantic. Why is that strong? Well, just look at the change in the colours, the variation between the blues, the greens, and the yellows, and even now those oranges there. They're very tightly packed together, and of course that the jet stream is driven by contrast in air masses, the temperature difference, and that jet stream is going to blow very strongly across the North Atlantic. What I'm concerned about is by Wednesday, you notice here the tightening of the isobars in the upper levels, as well as that even across the lower levels. We could be looking at on Wednesday very windy weather as a system way up to the north. I mean, you've got an area of low pressure, but it's a way up here across between Iceland and Greenland. But you notice here, why are we seeing very powerful winds across the UK potentially here, if this model is correct, is we've got a pretty strong area of surface high pressure here down over the Azores, and of course a very strong low pressure well to the north over Iceland and Greenland. That contrast, that difference in pressure is going to produce very strong winds across the UK during the mid part of the week. So certainly a little heads up there. Very windy conditions may be on tap for the mid part of next week across the majority of the UK. In fact, you notice here sharp cut off between warmer surface heights and lower, cooler surface heights across the north. That contrast, folks, is going to race those winds out of the west and northwest potentially across the UK. But let's have a skip through. You notice here the very chilly air covering a large part of central and eastern as well as northern parts of Europe up by Scandinavia, down through Russia and into Poland as well. Very chilly air mass, but certainly nothing exceptional for this time of year. I would say it's slightly below normal in terms of temperature. Winter certainly not wanting to let go across Eastern Europe. And then you notice here by Thursday the 8th of March, you've got a pretty cold northwesterly flow. Again, how cold is this air mass? It gets difficult at this time of year to find out the thickness values, the temperature, the temperature properties in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It can get complicated, but a very unsettled pattern. It looms. Basically, from the start of the week, we're going to see high pressure move in. The south of the UK, you're going to be talking about very heavy rain, perhaps changing over the snow in the backside across Lincolnshire, down through East Anglia, and even parts of, even the higher elevations of Kent as well. Then by midweek, after high pressure sets in Monday and the Tuesday, you've got a very strong area of high pressure over the Azores, very strong low up over Iceland. That imbalance in pressure is going to bring very windy conditions, I believe, across the UK midweek. Keep checking back to my blog, Facebook, Twitter, first-hand weather as well, and we'll all keep you up to date as to the very latest weather. Have a great weekend, folks. Bye-bye.